last 2 hours, 85% of the students were engaged. 75 or 60% of the lessons were rigorous, you know, that kind of thing. So, but teachers say they appreciate the feedback from both.
Mr. Cook, do you have, we won't take up too much of your time, we run it out. Could you just respond to a few more questions for us, please?
Yes, will we hold off on this other question?
No, go right ahead. Absolutely.
Okay. To answer your question real quick,
You don't have to be quick. I mean,
well, these were the items that I thought you guys could help us with the study. Definitely student-teacher relationships that impact student performance, and we kind of talked about that a little bit. Grading practices. The campus culture, characteristics of highly effective. The characteristics of our school that are highly effective in growing kids. I had to kind of go through. Changing the perception of the school. Reestablishing trust in Cullen Middle School. We're going to talk about that. Increasing rigor in instruction. Presently, actually, I was up to 5:45 this morning, so I haven't had much sleep. Finishing up a grant that we're writing, it's $1.7 million. The tips grant. So it was due today, and I'm studying the 90-90-90 school model from Doug Reeves, and that's a big part of the grant. If you can see how that, if you have any information on how that model can help us and how it can fit into the dynamics of Cullen. It's a lot of information on the internet. And of course, the last one is the big one. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that enough? I got a couple. Parent involvement and parent engagement. How do we increase that? Because right now it's very, very low. And if, you know, understanding the dynamics of our community, you know, it's basic needs is a priority. And coming up here to Cullen to check on, you know, why your child is failing English may not be on the high priority list. So how can we get them more involved? And okay, just two more. What is this? School study. Okay, how to establish better relationships with business partners. I think I had just written that. Dr. Nolly made that statement. And the challenge with that is that there's not a lot of business partners around. So that's a big one. That's one that really make me think. So now we ventured outside of this area and tried to do that, but it's kind of tough when people are not in the immediate area. And then the last one is just marketing the school. We're a choice school district where kids can choose if they have space. They can choose to go anywhere in this district. And, how can we market our school to get, like I said, a group of kids back in?
These are excellent areas of research.
So you mentioned about the 90-90-90 school model and how that can possibly fit with Cullen. So is there anything else that you would like for us to research and get back to you on your school?
No, I mean, those areas are, you know, long before this opportunity came, I had those in mind. Rigor.
Right.
Yeah.
You talked about cognitive coaching teachers. Is there a particular concept you use, and what would you like for us to research about cognitive coaching and report and include in this letter? Is it a how-to? ways to better coach teachers, ways to get teachers better involved. So if you, in particular aspects of where you'd like for us to focus?
Let me think. If there was a need, I would say the feedback.
Feedback.
Teachers receiving the feedback from the coach.
Okay.
How do we get teachers to position themselves to better accept the feedback and then utilize it?
Right.
Yes, I think we're pretty solid on the coaching piece, and I'm coaching my administrators on how to be better coaches in that aspect. I've been doing it for a while. That's something I stay tapped into. I'm reading a book right now, Doug Reed's put out. I guess y'all can see Doug Reed's on renewal coaching. I attended a conference in Austin, and I was renewal coaching. Let me see what this is about. So it's really looking at coaching in a whole different aspect.
How many APs do you have?
I have 2 APs and 1 instructional specialist.
Okay.
Yeah. Now one of my APs that I don't have, he's no longer with us.
Okay.
So I have a vacancy.
Okay. And I ask because if we run across some training or cognitive coaching, just want to know the degree to which your instructional coach or someone will be open or available to attend that training.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Definitely. As a matter of fact, he's going to Colorado to a grading practices
Great. Okay.
conference, so he's definitely open.
You also talked about, when you talked about community, alignment, rigor, and engagement. Those 4 concepts. And let's just take rigor. I have some idea of where you'd like for us to go with rigor. What does rigor look like?
Exactly.
That's science classroom. How do you increase that rigor?
Yeah.
The engagement. How do we I think we're clear about where you want to go there in terms of getting students engaged in a rigorous manner, that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
The alignment and the alignment. Talk to us a little bit more about the alignment piece. What do you mean there?
Well, the alignment piece I've learned is really the communication between teachers and administrative team, instructional team, and making sure that we're filling in those gaps. Because just quick analogy, well, not analogy, but the real situation. Our science scores are low. I mean, they're just low. They're just really low. And we need to build a strong science program, 6, 7, and 8, to get those 8th grade scores where they need to be. Especially moving to this new rigorous STAR test. It's going to be much, much tougher than the tax test. So we are focused on having that vertical team, that vertical alignment. So when kids leave 6, they're strong in science and they know what they're prepared for to do in 7, and 7 to 8. So that's what we're looking for. Yeah, so that's just really a communication piece, because I have walked this building and looked at math instruction on just for that day. I'm just going to visit math classes, and they were everywhere. They were all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Students, other follow-up questions?
I was interested because you talked about your strong coaching background and being coached and being a coach. How do you decide like whether you're going to turn somebody over versus coach them to greatness, if you will?
That's a good question. That is a really good question. I have a strong collaborative philosophy. I believe in collaboration. Dr. Greer brought a system that I really like, because before Dr. Greer came, the file review process was not clear. It was just not. I mean, he wants you to bring a file cabinet of documentation to get an ineffective teacher out of the classroom. Well, that has allowed principals, this new process has allowed principals to really have good, strong conversations when you're ready to answer that question. Because what I can say is that we've done 2 staff reviews, we've done a file review, and this is not Mr. Crook being personal, trying to remove you, but a team of people at different parts of the year have looked at your performance. And because of what the state, I think it was April 18th, teachers have to be notified that they're being terminated. You do have to shift kind of fast. So I worked the first semester to try to build capacity. My conversation about a growth plan is positive, and that's another paradigm shift for teachers. So you say growth plan, hey, you know, it's a negative thing. I said, no, if you look at it, it's for you to improve, and if we can accomplish this, you good, you know. But if it fails and the person still is ineffective, then yes, it changes quickly. And you're like, well, I like the attorney said, what's her name, Ms. Taylor? Ms. Taylor said, you know, you have to look at teachers like a marriage. If they're on probationary status, it's an engagement. So are we ready to break this engagement off before we get married? Because once we get married, it's going to be hard to get a divorce from this teacher. So you sit there, you look at your data, you look at your information on that teacher, and you're like, yeah, we need to end this engagement now. So then you have to come back and have that conversation with the teacher that, you know, we're moving on to end the engagement, so to say. Yeah.
Thank you.
You've spoken a lot about the importance of a fit. When you look for teachers, you're very interested in the fit. And could you tell us some more of what do you look for with respect to that fit? How does that look?
Well, knowing the dynamics of my campus and the culture, the environment, the student body, the teachers that they're going to interact with, even the non-instructional staff. As I kind of process what they're saying about what kind of job performance that they can bring to my campus. When I use the word fit, I'm trying to see, just like a puzzle piece, you know, will they be able to work well with this team? If it's a math teacher, I know the personalities, I know the dynamics of my math team here, 6, 7, and 8. Can this person collaborate effectively with this group of teachers and the personality and the mixes, you know, personalities that may be a part of that whole situation? When I reflect on my data, so a lot of times when I'm talking to a teacher, I'm in reflective mode. And I'm listening to what they're saying, I'm processing, but I'm reflecting also on where my campus is and what the needs are. And as I continue to converse and listen, I'm looking to see, can this person be a fit? Can they come in and do what I'm asking and perform job-wise in terms of what the campus needs are? So that's kind of the way I process it. And, you know, there's some things you can say, I'll know what your commitment level is. You know, what do you think about personal integrity, your loyalty to students, to the campus? And just a word of caution, you gotta be careful with people when you talk more about yourself. And when you're talking about working with principals and their kids, you know, we want to hear you talk about the kids. You know, we want to hear that kids are number one. You know, you have that heart for kids. This is why I'm here first. Yes, I am working on my doctorate. Yes, I would like to be a principal one day. And you don't have to say that 5 times for me to understand that. I need to hear you say, Mr. Crook, I got your kids. You know, I'm going to grow your kids. I'm looking at your data. This is the trouble area. These are the ideas I like to bring. This is what I did at my last campus. I want to see how you're going to help my kids. That's what I want to hear. So that kind of conversation will tell me if you fit.
Thank you.
What's the best part of middle school? I mean, middle school gets kind of really kind of trashed a lot.
Yes.
But in terms of what are the great things after coming from an elementary campus and knowing you aspire to work at a high school, what are the best parts?
Oh, boy. To be honest with you, Carmen, it's not really much different from Melanie. The kids are bigger. They're going through a difficult time in their life. You know, they're experiencing puberty, emotional. The girls gave me a hard time. I mean, the boys, I had them on lock. You know, I can step to the boys. I'm taller than most of them, except for the 2 I was talking about. And even they were fine. But I could just step to them like a coach and say this, this, and this, and have them on lock. But the girls, they knew exactly what buttons to push. I mean, like, I got Mr. Crook's button. I got you, Mr. Crook. I mean, all the time, you know. And then, but I learned how to work with that. So that was a major change. But the young ladies know how to really get to you. They can give you word for word. They can give that body language. They say, all right, man, look, how I'm gonna get to this kid, you know, get it do right. So that piece was a little different, but it's really not that much different. Once you start really building that relationship with kids and they know you have their best interest at heart, it's not that much different, but that is a big hurdle, is that piece where they are, that age group from 13 up to 15. It's just really a tough age. So if you go into it thinking about that, then you can address their needs better, because you have to be patient with that process. And teachers quick, you know, middle school, I can't do that, you know, I'm done with that, Mr. Crook. And then you have to just bring it back to it, you know, so this is where this kid, this is where they are. And you remember, you were there, I was there as a teenager, and it's just a tough age, you know. But in terms of great things, like I said, they're great kids, and the good part about coming to Cullen and being a middle school principal, my son was in 8th grade. He had just moved to the 8th grade. And just watching him at home, you know, just the humorous side of it. You know, it's funny to keep kids keep laughing. You know, they do a few things, you know, might write on the wall in the restroom, it'll come off. You know, we'll wash it off and stuff like that, but nothing that's extenuating. And kids, like I say, really want you to love them. They really want you to care for them. So even kids skip a class, you know, it's funny. I'm just cookie guy, you know. So we just kind of have that kind of relationship, but I get them back into learning. I said, okay, you got to go back into learning now and get this done, because you just missed X number of minutes. So X number of minutes. But there's some other little small celebrations. That's something I didn't talk about, was the celebration piece that I brought here as well. Little small celebrations to help build the culture. So anything kids did academically, not sports-wise, you know, we pretty solid. You know, they just the tradition of Cullen, they do well athletically. So that piece was done. But getting those celebrations academically, just finding those small ones, and then we got some big ones, and then we try to make everybody know. So great things happen, and that's kind of what's going on.
I noticed on the bulletin board, the Kappa League. Can you talk a little bit about that and how much impact that's had with the young men on the campus?
It's had a pretty decent impact, but not as great as I would like, because it's a small group of young men that participate. It really needs to expand. The Kappa organization that come in and work with the boys of fraternity, they select about 10 kids, 10 to 15. I think they start with 15 and then they wind up with 10. And they do a great job with those 10, but it would be great if they could work with about 30, with 30 or 40. And it's just been great. They taught them how to tie ties. They took them everywhere. They took them to one of the African-American owned companies. Gerald Smith is his name, I think. His company has like $1 billion. It's a $1 billion company. They would take them to places like that so they could see people that look like them being successful, you know, in universities and things like that. So it was major. It was a major plus.
Do you expect to continue with next year? Or?
Yeah. It's a partnership. It was a partnership before I came.
Okay.
So I continued. And then my assistant principal was a Kappa, so that was a perfect fit for him. Yeah.
Since there's a lot of questions, we would love the opportunity to interview you again in July, if you're available. Do you have vacation plans?
No, not really.
Most principals don't.
All right, I was gonna say, you know, I know.
Our plan is, we have 2 more weeks in this first summer session, and over the next 2 weeks, the goal of these students will be to analyze the data, the interview from you, we interviewed Patrice Pereira yesterday, and our plan is to interview your summer school teachers next week. We also plan to do maybe a little walk. Speaking of that, that's two questions. Would you be available sometime in July for us to have a follow-up interview, just to share with you what we've learned thus far, and to member check, and to get you to ask some additional questions? That's one question. The other question is, who are 2 or 3 people in the community you would suggest we interview or talk to about color?
Okay, let me process that one.
Okay.
This is not just it's a safety concern too, so I can't just send you everywhere. Just top off the list is across the street is the pastor of St. Mary's.
St. Mary's.
And Pastor Thomas Walker. He's very active in the community, he's active in the school, and like I said, he was the one that got the initiative to get the library. very well connected to what information you may get from it. Let's see, you said 3 people.
On two or three, whichever. And if there's
No.
not that many, no.
I would love for you to talk to a parent. Let's see. I can't think of her first name. I have to get that
Okay.
for you. But her last name is Garner.
Okay.
Garner. She's part of my PTO
Okay.
board, and she's a Jack Yates alumni.
Now, you said that the majority of students live across the street this way,
They live in that direction, yeah, or 610.
or 610?
Yeah, so all along there, then you have to go back on left and right of Scott.
You know, as I'm thinking, because our plan was to walk the neighborhood, and we can get a feel of the neighborhood. But if your students are in this complex, it might be better for us to simply concentrate our area, our efforts there, but that's something you all have to decide.
I think you'll be fine walking up Scott.
Scott, walk up Scott.
There's a Popeyes in that area right there.
Just that area?
You can gather a lot of information from that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's just unpredictable. That's something. The unpredictability of it. You know, some parts you walk to is a little tougher than others.
You know, and that is so interesting, and I guess that part of what I will say to the group is, it is the same unpredictability that kids deal with on a daily
Mhm.
basis. So, kids deal with it, we have to figure out a way to. So.
Yeah.
So, now, is there a time in July, are you available like the first week?
I know the first week I may be out of town.
Okay, we'll wait till you get time.
But the second and third week I should be. I'll still be doing hiring.
Hopefully not.
I think I would. It never fails. Somebody always leaves. Somebody else got a job. You know.
They reminded me that they're on vacation, they are on vacation.
Oh, okay.
So actually, our second summer session starts July 11th. So anytime after July 11th, and we'll just come back to your school, you have an hour or two.
Sure.
So I'll send you an email or I'll just, would you be here primarily or at your summer school site?
No, summer school will be open July. I mean, it'll be at the end of June.
Would you be back here at your own campus? Okay. We'll follow up with you then.
One of the things that we did want to mention is that we did have an opportunity to talk with Ms. Pereira on yesterday, and she had a lot of wonderful things to say about you, including the fact that you are all about the academics and that you always put kids first, and that has been very evident through the interview that you've given us on today. So we just wanted to take a moment to highlight the fact that there are other people who are watching you, including your media boss, who thinks the world of the job that you're doing here.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to let you know that you deserve a pat on the back for that.
Well, thank
And that you-
She's a former athlete. She's just not the kind of pat on the back. Just knowing that she said that.
Oh, yeah, she
Thank you.
said that you've done well and you will continue to do well, and she's also said that you've made great strides, and she has nothing but the best outlook for you here at Cullen. So we want to take a minute to say thank you and give you another hand.
Everybody take too long on my.
Oh, no, you gave us great feedback.
Doctor, we can have access to a cafeteria plan we can have a look at. Also, those weekly